Risa Boyer, welcome to my living room.
Thank you for having me.
I am missing your restaurant, Vanillamore, so much. Risa is the owner and chef of Vanillamore. I was introduced to you by Cara DeFalco. We have our ladies who lunch powwow. We like to frequent your place because of the delicious food, the desserts, and I can't wait to get back with that group of ladies soon.
Well, I appreciate you guys always joining us.
Yes, so you have an interesting story because you are quarantining while pregnant.
Yes, it is definitely an interesting twist.
Well, first of all, congratulations on being pregnant. When are you due?
You in September.
Oh, do you know what you're having?
Yes, a little boy.
Very cute, very cute. So, what has this transition been like for you?
It's definitely pretty much the exact opposite of what I had been planning for, which is interesting. We spent the first several months of the year while increasing our business, figuring out how to get me out of it a little bit and be able to take a step back and plan for baby and all of those things. And now I am doing nothing but being at home and kind of figuring out what that new normal will look like and completely replanning what the summer and the fall will look like.
Yeah. Well, being quarantined with all this free time and with your cooking skills, I am sure you're whipping up amazing treats in the kitchen.
I'm certainly baking and cooking whatever I'm craving, which is a nice silver lining for sure. I'm getting to enjoy my home kitchen that I certainly missed out on for the last 3+ years while developing and opening the restaurant.
Absolutely. So, is the restaurant completely closed right now, or are you doing takeout?
We aren't doing traditional takeout. We did for a couple of weeks. It's very different from our typical goals and brand. So I struggled with that a little bit. But we have sort of shifted our focus to do more e-commerce items. We always had retail items, but they were sort of put on the back burner as we focus on operating the restaurant. So it's pretty easy to transition back into that. So our website has several perishable items, a couple of branded items that we're doing for e-commerce, which obviously generates revenue and also allows us to keep in touch with our customer base. And we're also, this week, we are trying something new for Mother's Day. And we basically recreated our dessert flights, which we've never had as takeout items. Those have always been dine-in only. We've recreated them as little jars, sort of inspired by the little trifles that my mom used to make when I was growing up. So they're basically layered mason jars. And we sold them in advance. We'll distribute them over the weekend. And if it works out, which it feels like it's going to, we'll continue to do that, maybe every other week or for, special events, graduation, Memorial Day, Father's Day, those types of things in the interim.
Yeah. Well, you have to be inventive and entrepreneurial during this time because you want to be top of mind when things do open back up again, that your restaurant, Vanillamore in Montclair, is up and running.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I write blog posts, we write newsletters regularly. So we are very active on social media. So we very much so understand that we need to keep our core regulars and community informed of what we're doing. The transparency, I think, will only allow them to understand where we are, what we're doing, what our goals are, so that we can reopen successfully.
Do you have any idea on what that reopening will look like in terms of keeping social distancing protocols and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to really plan that without knowing what the guidelines are going to be from the state. Obviously, I do endless reading of what other states are doing, what might happen. So right now, what we're really planning is a very controlled opening where it's basically two different options. One is we'll have a calendar on our website where people can pre-register for or make a reservation really for a meal. It'll be a price fixed meal. It'll be probably a 4-course menu. We'll focus on our favorites and our, the best of Vanillamore at the beginning, but it'll really allow us to control the number of people that are in the restaurant at any given point. And then we'll also open it up to private parties. If you're a group of 10 and you want to come in, be with your family, as long as there's no restrictions around that, we can customize a menu for you and really make it a more intimate dining experience. So we're really focused on those curated events that are, registered for in advance. That way we can work on rehiring and figuring out our ordering process. It's going to be a completely different way of thinking. So we want to have some control over that at the beginning. And then as that grows and as we're allowed to open up more freely, we can add to it. Then that becomes easier to add to. But in terms of safety, we have to think about masks, and we've always worn gloves, but wearing them even more so, maybe even at the tables. And we can't necessarily put the salt and pepper shakers on the table without people being uncomfortable. And we only have 45, so 50% capacity is not a lot of people in the restaurant at any given point, but we're a small space, so there's just so many things to think about in advance of opening. And not having an exact hard date to that we can be open, it makes making all those decisions really difficult.
Exactly. And now you're throwing a baby on top of it. You were probably figuring out how to balance baby with the restaurant. And now you have this whole other layer to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am very lucky. I've always had such a great staff. Obviously, we've had to let go more close to 90% probably. I've kept my 2 managers on as they've helped with the e-commerce and the planning for reopening and all of that. But we'll have to really make sure that we're strategic about how many people we hire, so that obviously that makes sense financially. But I also have to worry about being able to step back and really orchestrate as opposed to do everything, which is my nature is to just do it. But obviously that's going to be physically challenging as I get closer to my due date. And then, obviously continues to be physically challenging, but also mentally and emotionally challenging, wanting to raise my baby and and maintain my other baby, which is my first baby, the restaurant.
Exactly. Well, where can people find out more about you and Vanillamore?
I regularly update my personal Instagram on what I'm doing behind the scenes. That's at Risa Magid Boyer. Our social media manager also updates everything on our Instagram and Facebook. It's all at Vanillamore. Our website and blog stay updated, vanillamore.com. That's also where you can find our shop page. Pretty much that's it.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you in person to congratulate you on the baby.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.